For us to have that candid discussion. Like I said, this is due to public demand. We have had this session before, but we'll keep having because it's of interest and importance to very many young women, to all women, and also men out there who seek to ensure that their women are all catered for and are getting the best family planning options, and also for the men. I mean, sometimes you say it's for once be the one to take up the mantle and, you know, just save your woman from that. So we're all about family planning, and we have an other person joining the panel, Felicitas Kamau, who's a nurse in, of course, she'll be taking us through her feel about family planning, and we get to answer some of the questions that you sent last time and were not able to go through them because of time. Dr. George Mukaya again, who's a consultant I find it hard to pronounce the obstetrician. Yes, it's always a tongue twister. And, well, a guy now maybe would have been way better. So, ladies and gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning.
You well? Hello? I hope this works. Felicitas, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Linda. Good
All
morning.
right, so, okay, I think we'll start with you as we fix that one for Dr. Mukaya. And yes, it's all about family planning. Dr. Mukaya said that family planning is important because then again, it comes in handy to help you control the, unwanted pregnancies and all that. I don't know what your view of family planning is.
Yeah, we say that family planning is very important, and we say that these are all the activities that are undertaken by a person, be it a male or a female, to ensure that you are able to decide when you get your children and the spacing in between every child. Yeah. So it is very important for every person or human being who is sexually active. Yeah.
Yes, and he took us through some of the methods that are available and options that were there. But yes, we did not expound more on the male options that are in existence. Which ones are they and how are they categorized?
So for the male family planning methods, we have barrier methods, and the most common that is used is the condoms. Yeah, and we have the surgical option of it, that is the vasectomy. But this is very controversial in our society. Yeah, I don't know what Dr. Mokaya said. Dr. Mokaya?
Mr. Mokaya, are you there?
Hello?
Oh, yes.
Yes, I'm there.
Yeah, I remember last time we spoke about the family planning options and we expounded that, direction for women, or the options that were available for women. We did not touch on those ones for men. And some of them asked these questions like, are they okay? How many are available? And at what age would it be recommendable for them? Yeah.
Okay. Good morning to you and good morning to the viewers. Just to answer that question quickly, the options for family planning for males are quite limited. We don't have a wide range as we have for females.
Yeah.
The common one that most people will know about is the barrier method, isn't it? The barrier method, which is the condom. Then there is also the sterilization, which we had mentioned briefly last time, which is a more permanent form of contraception.
Yeah.
Yes, or that is known as vasectomy. There is a new male pill which is under development.
Yeah.
It is not yet widely available because it is still being tested. But hopefully in the coming days or months, it might be something that could be available to a variety of men. So that is still being worked on, the male pill. Yeah, so those would be the options.
Okay, well, another interesting...
Yeah, they are quite limited compared to the female options.
Okay. All right, the age factor. First, when to begin. And I remember you said last time that women can begin from as early as, the age where they're able to conceive. And for the men, of course, these of theirs are a little bit, crucial. So, I mean, are there limits to the age as to when you can start? And probably when you can stop for both the men and the women? Felisa, you can come in?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, yes.
No, it's okay. It's okay,
If
Daktari.
Felicia's there, she can go ahead.
It's okay. It's okay, Daktari. Just respond to it, and then I'll
Okay.
get her having another question.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for the age, we said for as long as somebody is sexually active and they do not want to conceive, then that would be the appropriate age to engage in use of contraception. So age-wise, as long as you're sexually active and you want to prevent a pregnancy, then you should be on one or other form of contraception. That goes for both males and females.
Yeah.
On the upper limit, I think we do not have an upper limit for males because I think men can reproduce throughout their lifetime. For women, of course, once they undergo menopause, then the contraception becomes irrelevant for them at that point. However, we need to remember that even up to the menopause level, there is still a slight chance to conceive. So one would only stop the contraceptives at the onset of menopause itself, not around menopause. Menopause has to happen first, then the contraception can be stopped.
Can be, All right. Well, of course, remember the lines are open for you to call. The number's rolling down on your screen, or the SMS short code is equally down on your screen. You drop those comments and we get to answer the specialist as we proceed. Now, let's come to you, Felicitas. And this is a question that very many people asked in regards to methods suitable for young women. And in a way, Daktari was able to answer a bit of that. But I mean, most of the young women will want to get that assurance more and more. So what methods are at the disposal of young women, young girls who probably, yes, are sexually active, are able to conceive, but do not want to get pregnant? Felicitas?
Hello, Linda.
Yes.
So there are several options for ladies.
Yes.
Who are young and they're sexually active. And what I provide for is a long-term method. Yeah. A long-term method.
How
like
long
the
term is
IUCD.
long term?
This could be up to 12 years. This could be a period between 3 years to 12 years, depending on the lady's option, on what they really want to do, on what they propose, on how long they want to wait. So as long a period of 3 years to 12 years, depending on them. And the IUCD or the coil or the copper T is my most preferred method because this is non-hormonal and does not interact with the lady's menstrual cycle. Yeah.
All right. In this case, again, their biggest concern is what, of course, Daktari confirmed the other day, that it might not have more of an impact. Any side effects that you would be knowing of?
For the IUCD, the side effect?
Yes.
Mostly, the most common side effect is infections, that is sexually transmitted infections. So this will also ensure that the ladies become faithful or when they have the method in place.
Okay.
Hello, Linda?
All right. Daktari, still more questions. And I know these are some of the questions that we already answered. But because it's in the interest of the people, we might be forced to repeat some of them. Let's get to this one. This we did not touch on a natural form of family planning, which in most cases you'd find that there are people or even certain hospitals that you'd go to and would not give you family planning, but would recommend the natural form of planning. Just how risky is this in the event that one does not want to get pregnant? Terry, Dr. Mukaya, if you can hear me.
Okay. Yeah. Let me take that question. The natural form of family planning is also one of the options of contraception. However, it requires some conditions. It does not apply to everybody, and it's effectiveness is also slightly lower than, for example, the medical forms. Now, what do we say the conditions are? The conditions are, one, that the lady must have a regular cycle, which she should be able to monitor. And then, based on that regular cycle, then that would mean that the fertility window means that during a woman's menstrual cycle, there are some days that she is more able to get pregnant than other days. So once a woman is aware of and those days in a month are about 7 days, 7 to 8 days. Okay?
Yeah.
So if she knows she has a regular cycle, she can be able to estimate when those 7 days are. We call them the fertility window, in which you would be likely to fall. And then at that, she should avoid her chances of falling pregnant. That means if she's to have a sexual encounter, she should use another form of prevention, e.g. a condom, and then that would reduce the chances of falling pregnant, or avoid the sexual intercourse at that time completely.
All right.
Those would be the options. And then,
Felicitas, are you there?
Yes,
the other day,
yes,
in regards to the same, then the other time, Dr. Mukaya said that really there's not much of an impact when, negative impact as the myth would go, as many would say, in terms of, long-term use of contraceptives, and, at points whereby maybe it would alter your hormonal balance and all that. Why then should some of these key hospitals discourage people from using, these methods, foreign methods of, contraception, as opposed to going it the natural way? We're not able to get a hold. I hope Dr. can get to that. Dr. Mukaya, can you answer that, please?
Okay. The hospitals usually, I've heard that as well, that sometimes people would go seeking a form of family planning, and then the hospital turns them down.
Yeah.
Usually this would be applicable mainly to maybe young ladies who, for whatever reason, the person they meet at the hospital thinks that they are not ripe for
No, I think, Dr.
However,
the reason why this question is coming, Dr. is because there's this one that we know, hospital, that automatically discourages that. I think I've also had a gynecologist that I was hosting at some point in time, discourages that, whether you are in marriage or not, says that, just go it the natural way. It's the best way. Why?
This is mainly driven by religious affiliation.
Yeah.
Because there are very many hospitals, health facilities that are attached to religious institutions or religious organizations, and because of their faith, they do not promote contraception. So if you happen to visit such a hospital or such a clinic, then you will not find any option medical available to you. The alternative you would have to do is to visit a different hospital.
Yeah.
But of course, those hospitals are bound by their religious beliefs, and the one should be aware of hospital they're attending and what that hospital believes in.
All right. That's good. One is asking this: how do you get to know about fertility awareness, or how do you get to know then that you are fertile and you probably can now proceed to get pregnant, especially at that point when you are taking the natural direction?
Okay. Well, we said it has to start with, first of all, somebody having a regular cycle. Okay? If your cycle is irregular, then the fertility awareness method might not really work. So once somebody knows that they are having a regular cycle, then the easiest thing I can suggest is with the widely available use of smartphones, there are very many applications somebody can download that gives you that information without you having to calculate it manually, okay? But if someone wants to calculate it manually, it basically means that if we assume your cycle is 28 days, then someone usually ovulates, that means in the middle of their cycle, so around day 40, okay? That can vary with the length of somebody's cycle. So if someone's cycle is not 28 days, it is 30 days, for example, then their fertility window changes from day 14 to probably day 60, okay? So once you know the day that you're ovulating, then you want to avoid a sexual encounter that can lead to pregnancy. You want to avoid that for at least 4 days or 5 days before the day you ovulate, okay? About 4 or 5 days before the day you ovulate, and also a day or two after the day you ovulate. So if you add the 5 days plus 2 days after, 5 days before, 2 days after, that comes up to about 7 days. So you need to know the date of ovulation, and that can be calculated either manually, you look at the calendar and count the days, or you use one of the widely available applications that are found with the smartphones on the App Store, for example.
All right, another question here. And a lady, won't be mentioning their name, asks that my boyfriend says that he has been discouraged from using the barrier method. In this case, then I will assume the condoms, of course, by the doctors because he reacts to them. Is there a possibility that this is true? And another lady again asks this, that yes, I have been using the barrier method, but sometimes they tend to react with me. What really could be informing this? And Dr. I'm coming to you with the same question. I think it's more or less the same in this scenario, though of course with the lady it could be a little bit different, and that there is a possibility that maybe there's that reaction, especially with the flavored ones and all that. What do you tell them?
Some people do have what we call latex allergy, because remember these condoms, both male and female condoms, especially the male condom, is made from latex, okay, which is naturally, it's made from rubber, which is a naturally occurring substance. In a very rare circumstances, it's not common, it's quite rare, you find people are allergic to latex. So when the latex comes into contact with their skin, they get a rash or, they feel itchy. So for such people, then we say that they should avoid using a latex method of contraception and use an alternative. But this has to be documented maybe in a clinic setting or something. When somebody experiences that rash or allergy, visit a health center, it is verified that, because it might also be, it could be an STD, for example. So you're itching and scratching and you think you're allergic to latex, however, you actually have another condition like an STD, for example. So the latex allergy should be verified in a health institution at the point at which somebody has experienced what they think is an allergic reaction. They visit a hospital, and if it's confirmed, then they will have to use a different form of contraception.
So in this case, what difference does it come in when some of them are using flavored, of course, barrier methods in comparison to those that would just use the normal ones?
The flavored ones have, of course, additional ingredients to give that flavor. Those additional ingredients may have some of that irritation that people experience. However, if the allergy is based on latex, if the allergy is based on itself, it does not matter whether it is flavored or unflavored.
Yeah.
But if somebody, in their own personal experience, realizes that the flavored products give them more of an irritation than the plain ones, then they should avoid the flavored ones. Because we've said that, of course, there are additional ingredients in the flavored product,
Okay.
which might cause irritation.
Do we have Felicitas back?
Yes, we have.
All right. Well, sorry for keeping you at bay for a long while now. Remember also it's important that you keep sending those messages, and we have specialists right here to get to answer them. 22047 #Morning Cafe at Linda_Lela TV47 KE 0768095491. The number is to call. And this is the next question. We are a despondent couple. What is the best family planning method to use?
Hello, Linda.
We are a despondent couple. There's one person who's asking. We are a despondent couple. Well, apart from the barrier one, or the barrier method, what other best method of family planning can we use?
Okay. In the case of a couple that are despondent, it means that one of the couple is HIV positive and the other couple is HIV negative. So in this case, we don't want the partner who is HIV negative to be infected by the partner who is HIV positive. So apart from the barrier method, I would encourage use of the withdrawal method. But in this scenario, you must, when the intercourse is happening, you must be well lubricated to avoid lacerations that would occur. And then make sure that you do not, the ejaculation does not get into the partner who is HIV negative. Yeah, this would be the other method. But typically, we really encourage barrier method, that is the condoms.
All right. Okay. Coming back to you, Dr. Mukaya, there's a lady from Kajiado who's asking that she's been on family planning and she got to menopause 3 years ago, but still experiencing pain. What could be informing this?
That would, we would need more information to know why they should be having pain, which family planning method she was using. Because if she's in menopause for 3 years now, ideally, she should stop whatever family planning method she's having. Let's presume it is the intrauterine device, because that's from what you have said, that's what it sounds like. But of course, unless she can confirm that, we would not know. So if she still has the in her womb, then she should remove it if she has now been in menopause for 3 years.
All right. And well, this is a random one and away from, not really away, but there's a young lady here asking, don't you think that it is important that all this information is disseminated to the students at a tender age, especially the girls, are in terms of matters of family planning, because most of us get into it, we zero knowledge of what exactly happening. But as much as we love our boyfriends, it gets us to the point of getting this because then we are sexually active. Felicitas, should this be incorporated on the curriculum?
This, I highly recommend that this should be incorporated into the curriculum as young as the lower primary, that is from class 6, when these girls start becoming sexually active and their reproductive systems are now beckoning that we are now active. So this should be incorporated into the curriculum, into the lower grades, and even into high school. Girls should become aware of their bodies. Girls should become aware that they can be able to conceive, and they should also be educated on ways in which they can be able to prevent getting pregnant as young as they start getting their menstruation. This applies also to the boys as well, because we know that they can also be able to make the girls pregnant. So I highly recommend that this be incorporated into the curriculum.
All right. Well, and very many questions are coming, but time is not on our side. So I think this should be the last question that will be picking, and I am directing it to Dr. Mukaya. How effective is the withdrawal or pull-out method?
It is not very effective. Somebody would not rely on that to prevent pregnancy, because we know that there is still some sperm even in what we call the pre-ejaculate fluid. So that means even before somebody feels like they're about to ejaculate so that they can withdraw, they could have already have had sperms, active sperms, in their pre-ejaculate. So that is fluid comes around. That is the fluid that you find both on men and women. So in sometimes even in the males, that fluid already has sperms in it. So saying that you're going to withdraw, you might already have missed the boat, because some of those sperms have already had a chance to be released. So we would not it would not be a recommended form. If it is a natural method of family planning, it should be the fertility awareness method that we mentioned earlier, whereby you know the period that you're highly likely to fall pregnant, and you avoid activity that could lead to pregnancy at that time.
Still very many questions, but yes, I think this time around, because I won't promise another session, I will promise that we'll pick these questions and compile them together with your numbers and forward them to the specialists, and they'll get to respond to you. Thank you so much, Felicitas Kamau, nurse, and of course, Dr. George Mukaya, who's a gynae. Thank you so much for the great insights, and that's where we get to wind up this session. Remember, it was all about family planning. I hope some of the questions that you had have been answered. My name is Linda Lela. It was great having you from the start of the show up until now. Do enjoy the rest of your viewing as I get to see you again later in the afternoon for Newsfeed.